about home. They're married to real estate.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast for people who love real estate and want to become inspired and informed. Whether you are a newbie real estate agent looking to get tips and learn a thing or two, or maybe you are a savvy property owner who wants to get a jump on the market, this is the place for you. We discuss our passion for real estate and people, and we bring together our personal experiences as well as our guests to learn from each other. You'll hear from experts in sales coaching, real estate law, mortgage lending, investing, and many local business owners on how to grow your business or your investment in real estate. I'm Mary Elliot.
I'm Mary Forster.
And I'm Mary McCauley.
And we are Married to Real Estate. Hey everybody, we are here today with Pete Smith, attorney from Touchstone Closing, and we are so excited to be doing weekly podcasts now. Here we are again 1 week later with the Marys. I'm so excited to see you guys.
So excited.
This is going to be awesome seeing you guys every week rather than waiting every other week.
Touched.
You know, after Friday, I was like, oh, I get to see them again next Friday. This is so good.
It is good.
And we get to have a great guest with us who I am really excited to talk to. We've delivered a baby together, as Mary and I were just discussing with a client at their closing. As you guys remember, in our first episode, I think I talked about my first closing and the baby that was almost born in our arms. We'll say it was born in our arms, but
it was a great
not
story.
Actually. Yeah, it was a great story. So I was thinking, Pete, maybe you could tell us your version of that story, because I had my scared I have to text a lawyer at 6:30 in the morning version, but
yeah,
tell us your side.
That was different. Yeah. And I was, it was funny that it was your first closing.
Yes.
I'm like, well, I don't know if you're ever going to have anything as exciting as this ever come up again. But yeah, we knew that she was very pregnant, and we knew it could be any day. We thought we were going to be able to sneak it in. So what was it, about 7 a.m.?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
I wasn't even dressed yet.
Yep.
Still, I think, having my first cup of coffee. They're like, hey, little change up here. We're going to do the closing at the walkthrough in Lowell. I was like, oh, all right. And like, pretty soon, like if we could do that at like 8:30, I'm like, oh, okay, she's having some labor pains. Yeah. So get ready, start driving towards the house, and then I get the next phone call. We're going to need to meet at the hospital. It's getting a little more advanced.
Yep.
I was like, oh boy. So I did somehow beat you guys to the hospital.
You did, yeah.
And there was a table. It was like perfect. It was like set up right at the main entrance.
I know.
I'm like, all right, get set up here. And I was expecting her to probably be a little more, I don't know,
distressed.
Like distressed.
Yeah.
She was just shuffled over to the table, nice signatures, dates.
Yep.
And her husband's like, just signing away.
Every husband of a wife in labor, maybe.
Like,
poor guy.
Gonna need a date to sign.
Yep.
He's, it's double parked car right next to us. And it was, but we, got through it. And then I'm driving back to our main office in Andover. And before I even pull back into my office, I'm getting a text message of them holding the baby in the delivery room.
Yes.
So it's like 20 minutes later. I'm like,
20 minutes later.
You've got to be kidding me.
I know.
That's
We were
hysterical.
so close to it. It was ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I mean, we could see as she's signing, she was doubling over. And but I've been through that myself. And I was like,
Very
all right,
calm.
she's got some hours here because, she was signing and talking and,
Her second baby, right?
Her second baby. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Definitely.
pretend to know what that feels like. But
No, it's hard.
She's my hero. That was impressive.
Seriously.
That was very impressive.
And I think the thing that impressed me the most about it is that we had pre-set up the power of attorney in case this did happen, right? And so she knew that was an option, and she still said, nope, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to sign it no matter what.
Yeah.
I know.
I like it,
know.
too.
Wow. Tough lady.
And then you made national news.
We did. We're famous round the world.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you get any business out of it, Pete?
I'm trying to go for that demographic. If you're 7 to 8 months pregnant and you're buying a house soon,
Right.
We're the team for you.
Close at the hospital.
we will close.
We will close.
I've closed at hospitals after people have given birth, like refinances, but this was definitely.
Maybe we should go
Definitely
do like an
crazy.
educational series at like a Lamaze class or something.
What a great idea.
Yeah, I think so.
For the new babies, everybody needs a new house.
There you go.
Mary, I'm just thinking about it.
You like the way
Yeah,
my brain
I love it.
works?
I love
Yeah.
it.
Series.
I love it.
I love it. You know, guys, I didn't ask you how your week has been.
Hey,
Good.
This is funner.
This is funner. Anything more exciting, interesting real estate stuff for you?
Not so much real estate. I'm just able to drive so much business to this doctor of physical therapy.
Oh my gosh, she's going crazy.
I'm this walking billboard.
I hope he's paying you at this point.
Referral
He'll
fee?
give me a session
He'll
or
give
something
you a
like
free
that.
name.
But I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
No.
That isn't what it's about. It's kind
Yeah.
of like I want people to refer business to me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like. Give and you will receive.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so many people are out there hurting and have no kind of mechanism of getting it addressed. So,
Mm-hmm.
so a whole lot of that is going on, and life is just really full.
Oh, that's great.
Life has been
I love
really,
that.
really great.
That must warm your heart knowing you're
does.
making people feel so much better. Yeah.
I love it.
That's wonderful.
Love it.
That's wonderful. Mary McCauley, anything?
Well, I think this week I was off a whole week because of Monday's Martin Luther King Day holiday.
Yeah.
I was still working, but
Yeah.
not everyone was. And so I think my week, I was like, it's Tuesday, no, it's Wednesday. Like, what day was garbage? I just was off all week.
Yeah.
I've got my my second son, Tommy. He's getting ready to go a semester abroad to Portugal, to Lisbon. So that's exciting. But he's up at UNH now because he's got to clean out his apartment. And his car died. Totally all the electrical went dead on the highway.
Oh, my
on
gosh.
Saturday night, and so he had that going on, and then he's been sick. So don't think it's COVID, but they gave him some antibiotics and stuff, and he feels better. So he'll be home today to get stuff cleaned up out of his room.
Yeah. When is he
At home.
supposed to leave?
He leaves February 1st, so right around the corner.
Really soon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mom, it's
Yeah.
beautiful over there. You gotta
Yeah.
go.
Have you been?
Well, I'm planning on taking my daughter over her college March break, and then I was on a KW thing yesterday, and people were piping in where they were from, and someone was like, "Oh, I'm from Portugal," and I was like, "Wait a minute."
Can I have your address?
So he gave me his number, and to call him on WhatsApp and talk to him, and gave me a few things to see, definitely see and do while I'm over there. So I'm really excited.
Oh, Mary, that's going to be so awesome.
Great people,
Yeah.
great food,
yeah.
not
Right up my alley.
expensive, beautiful places to see. Like this gem of Europe, I think. is
I'm
in
so looking forward to
Yeah.
that kind of experience when Griffin gets there. He's planning to do an Oxford exchange program, so I'll be I can't say
So
for sure.
speaking
but
of Griffin, does he know then? Did
Not
he-
yet.
Okay.
Not
So
yet.
where he's-
He got deferred on his early decision choice,
Right,
which
you
was
mentioned
Brown,
that.
but that's okay because I think this other school is much better for him.
Great.
Oh,
Middlebury.
Great.
So, but
Oh,
fingers
great.
crossed.
Both
We
great
shall-
Fingers
schools.
crossed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both great schools.
I will.
Pete, anything exciting going on in your business world this week?
No, January is always a weird
It's slow,
month
huh?
in
Yeah.
real estate. So there's been some activity.
Yeah.
Some purchase and sales.
Is this so for
Here and
in
there.
January? Do you guys sort of really focus on what, like bringing in new business, working on your systems? What do you do?
Yeah,
typically?
I think you do
Yeah.
kind of revisit
Yeah.
contacts that you've made over the previous year, people you've wanted to follow up with.
Yep.
So you
Yep.
kind of start doing that
Do the
stuff.
networking thing.
Yeah, make your touches. Say, hey, remember that closing?
I saw you pretending that gambling at a casino was networking. Is that what you were doing
I
down
don't
there?
know. I didn't know what
Yeah,
that
let's
was.
see, what day was that?
They were. Yeah, it was the New England Mortgage Expo, which they have down in Mohegan, which is nice because that's
Yeah.
a fun
Feels like
place
you're
to
away.
visit,
Fun.
anyways.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know what to expect. Touchstone sent a few of us down there just to check it out,
Was it a good
and it was
time?
neat.
Yeah.
I mean, you learn some things. So.
Meet some new lenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how do you like Touchstone? So you've been there how long now?
It'll be a year in February. Yeah.
So before that,
Congratulations.
yeah, you had your own shingle out for a
Yeah.
number of
Right.
years.
Yep. So this is my 17th year in real estate closings, and 15 of those was as Peter Smith Law Office.
Right.
So yeah, it's I don't, there's different things about it, but I mean, going back to, having that support.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever want to go back to being a solo again.
Is that kind of what made you make the change? Is after doing it for 15 years, it's just so much of the business stuff.
It's a grind.
Yeah.
Doing the back end stuff, the actual business part of it, and, being the HR, and you're doing
Right. All the
Payroll.
requirements,
Yeah.
all the requirements.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot.
Touchstone
so.
is a great firm. I had some dealings with other attorneys there
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
earlier years in real estate. So
Yeah. So, I mean,
Did
I
they
know,
woo
it-
you? Did they woo you hard?
Jack, our fearless leader, I've known him since before he started Touchstone. He worked at another firm in Andover. And so we've just kind of followed each other. So
Yeah,
I've always been a
okay.
fan because he's very good. He's leading it. He's always on the cutting edge with the technology and everything.
Yep.
And he's always had great support staff around him. Even when I had closings with him on opposite sides, I was like, wow, it's always like a pleasure working with Jack because he's just, that office was always on the ball.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, they're just great with that stuff. They're growing incredibly fast now. They've
Yeah.
now just merged Tomlinson and Hatch.
Okay.
In Andover, Newburyport firm. So now we have a Newburyport office.
Wow.
Nice.
Great.
Yeah.
Good market.
Yeah.
Good market there.
Yeah.
And of course, we have the Andover's our headquarters. I run the Salem, New Hampshire branch. We have Boston right outside TD Garden on Causeway Street.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a pretty cool location.
Yeah, it
Yep.
is. Yeah.
So you're a real hybrid. I cut my teeth in Northern Virginia, so we always wrote contracts. We hardly ever dealt with an attorney.
Yep.
We used a company where the attorney did do the closing typically. She didn't have to, but
Right.
but we did use that. But we had very little experience with attorneys. So you have that New Hampshire experience
Yep.
versus Massachusetts
Sure.
experience.
Yeah.
So what's that like? How does that feel like?
Well, New Hampshire, I mean, it's much easier or more streamlined up there. There's not as much things going. Massachusetts, you got smoke certificates and you've got
Septic.
60
Title
well, you
certificates.
also write an offer
Title
where
V.
you go right
Yeah.
to P&S in
Right.
New Hampshire.
So it's definitely more, I'm not going to say complicated. I mean, the processes, the closings are the same, right?
Yep.
But I don't know. It feels
But
like
you
it's,
don't write the PNS up there.
No.
The agent writes
Which
the
is- yeah.
contract, right?
Yeah. So I usually don't even see it until it's already a signed contract, which
Scary.
sometimes
That's
I'm
kind
like,
of one of
"Ugh."
the
Sounds
yeah.
unnerving
Yeah.
to
That
me.
scares me a
Yeah.
whole lot about being a New Hampshire
Yeah.
agent.
It's
Yeah.
really easy.
That's
Yeah.
what people have told me,
It's
but
easy.
I am so happy to send
Yes.
my
let
offer
a
to Pete.
attorney do his
Exactly.
lawyering and let a real estate agent do their.
That's
So
how
do you
I
want
feel.
my opinion about that?
Yeah.
Sure, please.
Fewer people in the pot, the better.
Yeah,
Rather
that's
than
fair.
two attorneys that are doing pro forma work. I mean, depending on the skill set of the agent, obviously, and how
Yep.
much backup
Sure.
there is.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, if you're new and you don't know what you're doing, you don't have any backup in your office, then you want
Yeah.
an attorney right at your hip.
I always want an
I do
attorney
too.
right at my hip. I really I find so much value in knowing I can reach out to you and
Yeah.
especially you. We have a good relationship, and I can just send you a question and not be lawyerly like, oh, you peon real estate agent. I'll answer this for you, I suppose.
No.
You're always so helpful, and also your office, your team is very super responsive to me, and I've worked with some other legal teams that are not the same, and it makes a huge difference, and it really puts my mind at ease every single day. Thank God I have a lawyer
Yeah.
watching my back.
Yeah,
and,
but I agree.
you know?
Pete's very accessible that way.
Yeah.
I've called him for other deals and been like, "What do you think about this?" And do they need another attorney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's always good.
I'd rather have the question,
Yeah.
than don't ask it, and then it's an issue
Does
later,
that get
right?
annoying though with people
No.
who know less than you, just always asking you questions?
Hey,
Smartest one in the room.
Yeah, sure. Who doesn't like that?
I'll tell you, joining Touchstone though has also been really great because we don't all know it. I think 5 or 6 years in, I'd be like, oh, I think I've seen everything, and it's like, nope.
Yeah.
So now being, there's I think 16 attorneys. I don't
Oh,
even
wow.
know. I have to go back and look now, but there's so many. From Mike Lombard, who's been in this business for probably 40 years. Down the line,
Right.
there's so many years of experience, and a lot of them have seen. I'm not going to say between all of us we've seen everything, but a lot of it's covered. Like we have
Yeah.
our own little chat group between the lawyers, and I'll be like,
Cute.
"You ever
Anybody
heard of
see
this
this?"
or
Yeah.
this?" And somebody would be like,
I love
"Well,
that.
I haven't," but they might know where to point you. So it's
Yeah.
having that resource has
Yeah,
been
that's got to be
pretty
huge
amazing.
for
yeah.
you. Like have a hive mind to
Well,
go to.
it's important who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And you also have boilerplate from them. This is the language I use to cover that issue.
Yep.
And you don't have to
Yeah.
create the reinvent the wheel.
Right. And
Yeah.
I'll take, like, I stayed away from commercial work for a long time because I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
And I was busy with residential, and it's not something, but now, there's a few guys in there that's what they do. And so that's been great.
Yeah. And they
Why
can
real
like walk you
estate
through
law?
it.
How did you get
Well, that's
started
what my
in
next
that?
question
Which one?
was.
Why real estate law?
Oh, why real estate law?
Yeah. How did
I don't
you
know if
come to
anybody,
that?
well, I guess if you work in real estate and you're going to law school, maybe you're going nights, maybe you're going into real estate.
Right.
But I don't remember anybody that I just went days, like, I was a paralegal for 2 years after college.
Okay.
And then, I was like, these guys are giving me orders, and I feel like I'm smarter
I
than
might
most
as
of
well
them.
be one
So
of
I
those
wanna be one
guys.
of them.
Yeah, totally.
But
yeah.
no, not so much. But
That's how I felt
I
as
think
a
we
medical
all go in there
assistant.
thinking, you kind of have that sexy idea of being in the law. I'm
Yeah.
going to be in court. I'm going to
Yep.
be doing these lawsuits or
I
whatever.
object.
Yeah.
Perry Mason.
Yeah,
or
totally.
Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
Depending on.
Yeah. Or like your few good men moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've never had one of those moments.
Darn it. I'm sorry.
Don't say never. Never
No,
say
it
never.
could happen. It could happen. But I think when I got out, it was like kind of right after the .com bust, and a lot of the big firms weren't hiring, and it was kind of like tough to find a job.
Yeah.
But of course, back then, like 03, 04, the real estate had really started to boom.
Yeah.
And the interest rates had dropped, so there was a big refi boom going on. So
Yeah.
they were looking for attorneys. So that's how I got pulled into it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
an
So you
attorney
didn't have a deep burning desire like real
No,
estate.
I just wanted a
where it's
job.
at.
You
At
just
that
wanted
point,
a job. Yeah. He had a burning desire to pay his
God, you
tuition.
found
Yeah.
your niche because
Yeah.
it's awesome and you're terrific at it.
Yeah, I mean, the guy I went to work for, he did a little bit of everything. He was doing workers' comp, personal injury, and he had this real estate side, and that was kind of, he's like, well, my associate attorney, helps me a lot with that. So
Yeah.
you're kind of going to be doing that. I'm like, oh, am I going to do any of the other stuff? And he's like, well, let's do the real estate, and,
How about
we'll
you
see.
stick with this.
Yeah. And then I picked up Tony,
Yep.
probably in 05, and he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
So he was loading
Great
me up with a
lender.
bunch of clothes. Yeah.
Yeah. Tony Cardinelli,
Oh,
awesome
Tony.
lender
Oh,
at
yeah.
cross
Right.
country.
Cross country.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. Excellent.
And yeah, so he was a big push. So I just remember going back to my boss at the time, and I said, "All right, so I got some of my own clients." He's like, "Yeah, you need to go off on your own." I was like, "What?
Oh.
No, I thought
I put-
maybe I could be a partner." And
Yeah.
he's like, "Trust me, you'll thank me."
You wanna do
And I was
this.
like, "Okay," and I'm
Wow.
still really great
Tough
friends
love.
with. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was kind of like he's like, "You'll be fine," and I was like, "Okay."
You were.
So
Yeah.
you got
That's
tossed into the
My-
pool before
yeah.
you could swim necessarily. Yeah.
And my first office was like a one-room office off of a nail salon in Methuen.
Oh, fancy.
The fumes would come into the office, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, I got a headache." Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's great.
I love that humble beginning.
Everybody's
Yeah.
got to
Nice.
start somewhere, and I love that
It was
so
great.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
You
how
started
long?
at a hospital.
I started on the steps of a hospital.
Steps of a hospital.
Yeah.
pretty amazing. I know.
So, did you always know law was going to be your thing growing up?
I guess criminal justice was kind
Yeah.
of my target.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I have an uncle who was or two uncles that were police officers. Both my cousins are cops in Lynn.
Yep. Yep.
So I not so much maybe even police, but FBI,
Yeah.
CIA. I
Yep.
don't know, something. I always thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So I went to Northeastern, and I was a criminal justice major.
So did my husband, by
sister
the way.
was too.
Yeah.
So was my
And
husband.
Yeah. We had this co-op program there, which was really great. It's a 5-year school, but you leave with like a 2 years of work
history.
experience.
Yeah.
So it was
Right.
really great.
Yeah.
Great program.
And the first job that I could get was at the social law library, which, sounded
wow.
so boring, but I'm like, well, it's a job.
Yeah.
And I was there, and I started doing some really minor research for like judges that were like in the building. And then I got put into a law firm in my next co-op, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. And I was like, all right, paralegal, that's like a great job. So I was working at big law firms in Boston as a paralegal. And then I was like, I think I can do this. I'm going to go back to law school.
Yeah.
So
Where did
oh,
you go
yeah.
to law school?
It's New England School of Law, so right in the theater district.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, next to
Boylston
Blue Man
Street.
Group.
Nice.
Do you know where that building is?
I do.
Yes, I do. I know exactly.
Yeah.
How many times did you see that?
Only twice.
Oh, good.
Surprisingly,
All right.
and I was down there for 3 years, so yeah.
Funny.
Pretty impressive.
Well,
Yeah.
once or
There's
twice.
a lot
is
going
enough.
on there, yeah.
There is.
You know, law
Yeah.
school kind of is a busy work
Yeah.
kind of thing. So it
Yeah,
keeps
it
you-
was busy.
yeah.
Now, do they require the LSATs for that? Do they now still? Because I know some don't.
Oh, I didn't know
I don't
that.
know what the requirements are now, to be honest, but LSAT
Yeah.
was a big part of your
Your deal.
Yeah.
Getting
Yeah.
in process.
I think
yeah.
it's LSAT, your GPA, and then like maybe you wrote an essay, but it wasn't too complicated back then. I know it's so much crazier now with everything
Yeah.
online,
The
and
whole process is
Yeah.
crazy.
I know I have a 10th grader, so this will be.
Yes.
I'm getting warmed up, right?
You're
You
heading
are.
into
You
it.
are,
I know.
definitely.
Start taking them on trips.
Yeah.
Yep. That
My
was
last one just went, so I've been through it.
I know. You're one step ahead of me,
Yeah.
and you're one step behind
Yep.
me.
And mine's
Yeah.
done.
And
Yours
she's
are
all
done.
done. Yeah.
So these are great resources here.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. We I'm in the thick of it right now. It's crazy. I can't believe my son's about to leave my house.
Oh,
He's
So
not going
sad.
far. He's not going far.
But then the teenagers are keeping me quite busy as well.
Yeah.
Oh, the 13-year-olds. You have a 13-year-old too, don't
Yep.
you? Yeah.
Yep.
13-year-old girls.
Look
Woo.
at
I know.
you. Look
Yeah.
at you,
It's-
Dad.
Yep.
yeah, I know.
Yeah. So how is law life balanced with your home life? How?
Now it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So
So-
that may have been a factor. Of,
That was a big,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the first year of the pandemic, the rates all dropped, and we were just all out straight doing refinances.
Yep.
In the purchase market was pretty hot too.
Yep.
Even though the inventory still isn't that great, but
Right.
but it was busy.
Yeah.
So I was just I had talked to Jack about merger like 3-4 years ago,
Yep.
and at the time it just didn't fit.
Right.
But now it was gonna fit because.
So
I
these
had to do
hours
it.
work for you. You can go,
Yeah.
like, you can leave the
Yeah.
office at
Yeah.
5 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still like, responding on my emails after,
Yeah.
I'm still.
He does
as
actually answer his
accessible,
texts
but-
at
does.
6:45 in the morning. So I've
But
proven
instead
that.
now I'm home.
Yeah.
Making,
Exactly.
responding on my phone instead of like at the office doing 1099s and,
Yeah.
At a time,
doing out
yeah,
FedExes
right.
and
Yeah.
scanning documents. So,
Good, good.
God bless our paralegals,
Yes.
Yeah.
but when you're doing it all yourself, it's tough. So
It's a lot. Takes
Yeah.
up all of your time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you seeing any distress work now, like short sales or anything like that?
Forbearance
Great
issues.
question.
that is a great question. And I haven't seen them yet, but I heard they're on the way.
Yeah.
The short sales. By the end of the year, we're supposed to be starting to see them again.
I
That's-
was reading
that's what
that
I'm
last
hearing.
year too,
Yeah.
though, about this past year. By the end of this year, or 2021,
I don't know.
we would have been in it, but it seems like
Painful.
it got pushed
I hope they have a
off.
better process
I
this
hope
time.
so too.
Yeah.
So painful.
Yeah.
I remember the first one I did was with a guy. Do you remember Dave Tellier? I don't know if you remember him. He was a Groton agent.
Oh,
And it literally took like 8 months to get the
8
short sale
to a
approved.
year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Because they
boy.
didn't really know what they were doing
Right.
back
They
then.
still take that long.
Yeah. Oh, really?
They can. It
wow.
depends on who owns the property.
right.
Okay.
Because like
How
the
many
banks
lenders
only
there are, yeah.
banks only meet
How much
once a
debt?
month.
Oh, yeah.
To
Yeah.
review their books. So if you don't get on it for that one, then it's a whole nother month before they'll see what kind of write off they're going to do with that
gosh.
property.
Yeah. I know some of them are a lot better. They're like, here's your checklist. We need all this stuff.
Yeah.
Submit it. The worst part of it, though, is they always are like, you can't pay your mortgage. Because as long as you're paying your mortgage, they're not even going to deal with you. So that was because you're always going to kill your credit when you
Right.
do a short sale, which
Yeah.
kind of stinks, but
Yeah.
it's what you
Well,
got to
that's
do.
why
You've
if
gotten into
anyone's
that
out there
position.
in that position, now is the time. Talk to a real estate agent, one of us Marys. We can help
Absolutely.
you before
Yeah.
you get to that point. There's
Yeah.
inventory so low that you shouldn't have to go into short
Exactly.
sale.
No, you should
They
not
really
have
shouldn't
to.
be,
and
right?
and
Right.
houses, when they pop up, I'm telling you, are getting swarmed right now
Yeah.
Yep.
with
So
buyers.
let's get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, another area, it seems to be the estate kind of sales as well, is like, urging the heirs to get going, get moving on those things, to
Right.
take advantage of the market now and get beyond kind of the usual
Yep.
tension.
Yeah.
I
So
got a couple of those going on right now.
yeah, that
with
makes
like 6 siblings. They can't, they're not agreeing on stuff. And I'm like, I hope you don't miss this market. 'Cause It's really
Yeah.
good.
Right.
really
so do
good.
you have good estate attorney partners that you
Yeah.
know, because if they have that in place already, then you can avoid some of that
Yeah.
haggling and family squabbling after you're gone.
Yeah.
Make the process easier, streamline it to sell your home or your property.
Yeah, we have Mairi Catalda in our office. She does litigation, but she also does some of that Gita Brasilius. She also does some of the estate work, probate work.
So who would you
Kathy
recommend
Thompson.
that to? Like a family with, a potential property that might go into an estate sale, would you, that's listening, that their parents own a beautiful home and they're getting up there in years. Would you say it's a good time for people to start thinking about doing that?
About estate planning? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Never too early for
No.
estate
Right.
planning.
Never
Yeah,
too
yeah.
I would say as soon as you have a kid.
Okay.
So even a young couple.
Yep.
Because you might not have a lot of assets, but you want to control who's going to be the guardian of this kid if something happens to you too.
That's
So
absolutely right. Yep.
that's definitely, just a simple will,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
for them. And then when you get a little bit older, maybe you're talking about the revocable trust, so you can avoid having to go through probate,
Right.
which is
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
that's
Yes.
such
Can we do
a-
that with everyone, please?
It would make our job easier. and
Yes.
Make it a lot less stress-free
No, trusts
for
are-
everyone.
Trusts are so much better in real estate.
That's what you would.
Yeah,
advise,
because I mean, if a person doesn't have a trust, passes away, doesn't have a will, now you have to go get a license to sell. And
Yeah.
right now, the probate courts, I mean, that's going to be at least 3 months, and it's probably going to be closer to 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like we've had some that are just dragging right now.
Yeah. And you'll have no idea what the value
Yeah.
of your house will be by the time you're done with that.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that, and then even if you have a will, you might have a power sale in the will that allows you to skip the whole license to sell. But you still got to get appointed as a personal rep.
Yep.
There's, usually, that's still going to be three to 4 months.
Yeah.
So, Pete, would you be up for doing a Zoom seminar on that?
Ooh.
Oh, on estate planning?
Sure.
That would
Any
be
of that,
great.
or how to the real estate
I
portion
would,
of
but
it.
I would also definitely bring in one of the people from our office too.
Great. Yeah,
that
I'd love to
really
do that.
does.
The other Mary in your office?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
I
invited.
would like
yeah,
that.
she's invited.
Oh, what's married to the 4th degree?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have to figure that out.
Degree.
Yeah.
Let's do
Squared.
that.
I think that's
Square.
squared.
I think you're right, Mary. Absolutely.
So other than law, Pete, I took a look at your Facebook page.
Oh no. I try to scrub all my political
You
stuff off
did.
there.
You
Yeah.
did scrub it pretty well because I was only finding info on his Touchstone bio.
No,
But,
no,
yeah,
no.
Go ahead. I want to hear
I saw
this.
lots of mountains.
Oh, yeah.
I saw one thing that's really that we share interest in is veterans issues, and we saw that
Yeah.
you plugged the military suicide issue.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're
Excellent.
friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I-
Yeah,
Me too.
no,
Me too.
I've been longer.
Okay, fine.
yes, I'm definitely a huge fan of our veterans.
Yeah.
My dad was a captain in the Army, and cousins that were in the military.
Yeah.
A lot of friends.
Do you know about Clear Path New England? Have you done any work with them? Because the director of it is going to be on here in a couple weeks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've definitely heard of that.
That's exciting.
in
I'll
Devon's.
make sure to listen to that one.
Yeah.
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 That's great.
And we had a guest, a guy from New Hampshire who was retired to Florida. He was a broker up there, Frank Menard, retired Marine recruiter.
Oh, wow.
He's really into something called Mission 22,
Yep.
which is the Marines' response to suicide issues, and really, really amazing work. And to think, such a disastrous result of serving the nation, serving us, to be in such pain or confusion or just
Right.
Yeah, the PTSD
Yeah.
is.
It's real.
It is real.
it's really
Yeah.
right.
It is a serious, serious issue.
Yeah. I mean, you meet any combat veterans, they don't even want to talk about it,
No.
and I don't blame them.
No.
Yeah.
We should invite Mike Izzo and his partner on. He's at BU, a student, a master's now, and he has a podcast where he interviews people to be able to tell their story. He's a veteran, a ranger,
Yeah.
Iraqi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but this whole opportunity to be able to say what happened to them.
Yeah.
In like a safe place
And
with somebody who's been there and gets it. That's,
Yeah, his
that's a great
partner's
idea.
minister or a priest, and he's now getting a counseling degree, his 3rd degree, but West Point, all that kind of stuff.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that
really
must-
cool. Yeah.
That must
Yeah.
be very great therapy for them to just
It
be
is,
able to let it
talk.
out.
But I
Yeah.
don't know if, like you said, that they want to. I mean, I know they've
Yeah.
tried in Westford to get residents that are veterans to tell their story and put it all together. You know, the town had spearheaded something like that, and I don't think it really, was not that it wasn't well received, but I think a lot of people just didn't participate, or I think
They
it was
clam
difficult
up a
to.
little bit,
I maybe they don't want to be emotional, or I don't
Yeah.
know.
My
I mean,
father-in-law was in Vietnam, and until his dying day, it was difficult for him to talk to us about it. And
Yeah.
he would every once in a while on Veterans Day or something like that get together with a group of vets and then tell us that they were able to talk about their stories all
Yes, to
together,
each
but
other.
still then not tell us the stories.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so to each other, I think it is
yeah.
easier, maybe more meaningful or impactful to them, but out into
Sure.
the world and
Yeah.
telling your story can be scary.
Well, I did those Pasta for Patriots
Yeah.
dinners, and they were 4 dinners, 4 days in a row, and they were free for veterans, and some came in their uniforms,
Oh,
and some
neat.
brought pictures of them when they enlisted, and so there was that camaraderie and
yeah.
sharing, definitely among their own
Yeah. Yeah.
selves, and they were even like, "Oh, all right, your army, you can sit with us," or something like. So they're funny and just wonderful, and so I did get a little glimpse into that, and instantly fell in love with wanting to know more about
Yeah.
veterans and
Yeah.
what they do and what they've been through.
I do love the ribbing in
Yeah.
I
the
know,
different
it's-
branches. It's, so
It's
funny.
really great.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're Navy, I'm Marines. Well, you guys gave us a ride, so you're cool.
We'll let you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for the ride.
I love that. I think
funny.
it's really sweet.
It is
actually.
funny.
Yeah.
So it also says here you do stuff with Habitat for Humanity. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm on the rotation. That's what we call it. But
Oh.
basically, every few years, you'll be called upon to help. They usually will do like a 2, 3, 4 family. They'll build in Lawrence, Haverhill, and we go in. We'll draft the condo docs. We'll draft the master deed. And we'll do a bunch of stuff for no cost, and then we'll do low cost closings for the actual buyers.
I love
It's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
And I get to meet these families, and they're also deserving.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
it's
really,
life changing.
yeah.
I really want to be a part
Yeah.
of that.
That might be, those are probably my favorite closings that I've ever done, just because of how, like, a lot of these people come from Africa or
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
poor places.
Yeah.
And they are just
And they're
so
so
thankful
happy.
and
Yeah.
happy. And it's like, wow. I think I
Like,
said
we're
that
doing
like
a good
years ago
thing
on
here.
Facebook. I was like, I just did a closing for a $10,000 trailer in Exeter, New Hampshire. And it was the happiest buyer I'd ever had. And I was
Yeah.
like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
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 So it was, that's a great cause. And then even, you don't even have to be a lawyer.
Right.
Obviously, they're always looking people to swing hammers
Yeah.
and do other things.
Yeah.
No, there's so
um,
many opportunities
There
within
really
that
are.
organization, but that's a great way
Yeah.
to be able to donate sort of your specific skills.
I do.
I love that.
I
you
love
do
that kind of stuff.
Well, and typically expensive skills.
Yeah.
Right.
To hire a lawyer, a lot of people are don't have the funds for that. So
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
really
I get
nice
that.
you donate.
I get that question a lot. Like, oh my God, am I going to have to hire a lawyer? I'm like, yes, you are.
You might have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually,
but-
one great thing about Touchstone, they have a really great part. Have you ever heard of Lazarus House in Lawrence? Yeah. So they have a really great partnership with them. They do a lot of work with them. They're basically impoverished families
Okay.
or single mothers.
Yeah.
And they have got residences for them. And, they do all these food drives and clothing drives. So that's been really cool.
That's great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get to go over there and help out, and that's great.
I don't know if it happens it may happen in real estate law. I mean, I love that you can donate that sort of work, the deed and all of that sort of thing. But what about, as you're talking, I'm thinking about a Lazarus House type of thing, like a women's shelter. Can you guys step in and do legal work for them, donate it that way? Is that
We
something
could,
that
yeah. I mean, if there's
Well-
a house involved,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm involved with Live for Live Foundation here in Westford. It's against domestic violence, and the ultimate goal of that is, and I'm the VP right now, but I'll be I'm the incoming.
She's gonna be the president.
Yeah. So we're in transition at the moment, but that's the ultimate goal, is to have a freestanding resident. That's what we're raising money for. That's what our foundation wants to do, so that we can have a residence for those that are survivors of domestic violence to have a place to go and to, you know, get some training and education and counseling and have, you know, live stress-free for a while till they get, you know,
Yeah.
back on their feet. So
You
so
just
yeah,
gave
you
me
may get a call.
goosebumps. You just gave me goosebumps, Mary. I love that. I love that you're
Yeah.
doing that and you're working towards that, and that's going to be so great.
Are you looking for a sponsor or a donor to provide a property or?
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly looking for grants and that kind of a thing, and we're all of our fundraising. I mean, what isn't earmarked specifically for, say, education, but we have some money. We did a partnership with doTERRA has a division called Helping Hands, I think, and they matched us. So we raised a lot of money that was just for first and last months in security, so that you know, survivors of domestic violence could get out, and not have that be the reason why they stay and don't get out when they should. So we have that money, and then we have separate money for education and separate money towards our big goal of the residents.
That's
Amazing.
impressive.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You know, and I know that's kind of separate, but like your brokerage is very community service based.
Keller Williams.
My
Yep.
goodness.
Yeah.
It is.
And I love that.
It's one of my favorite
Yeah.
things
It
about it.
is mine too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
our culture. It's part of
Yeah.
our
It
culture,
really
and
is.
it really is. You know, people say, you know, drinking the Kool-Aid, but it's good Kool-Aid. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
if
we
you're gonna
love
drink
our
any
Kool-Aid.
you
It's
know,
red.
right?
It's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's come from a place of caring, and yeah,
That always was the best one, the red
It was
Kool-Aid.
always the best.
Yeah.
It's my
I
favorite.
agree.
Yeah, so big fans of Keller Williams, all
Yeah.
of us, and
Yeah.
why we're there. You know.
Yeah.
Great
sure.
culture.
And that culture created this group actually too.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago when COVID came, we had a daily power up
Yeah.
and we all just connected.
Yeah.
And Mary, Elliot decided, hey, let's do this.
Let's do it.
We need to do it.
I remember talking
do.
to you two at a Tony event over in
Yeah.
Where
The
were
night
we?
you two
Westford
met.
Oh,
Barton.
yeah.
The night we met. Before we even had a baby. Yeah.
And I was the one, the catalyst.
She did. She hooked us up.
Mrs. Smith is going to be calling you.
I know. Hi.
Oh, she knows the story.
She
But,
knows all about it.
But you were talking about it then, and I
Yes.
was like, that's so awesome, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you
So
told
that's
me
great.
about your podcast, and I
Yeah.
felt like I had to flex a little and
Yeah.
tell you about mine
I
that
know.
hadn't existed yet.
I'll tell you, like,
Yeah.
Jack loves doing it, and I can
Yeah.
tell you
Yeah,
guys love
we
doing
do.
it
We
too.
do. It's really
What is your
fun.
podcast? Tell us about it.
It's Touchtone Showcase, so it's on wherever you can get iPod. You know,
All
I
the
get mine from
places
the
you download your
iPods. But,
podcasts. Yeah.
and I think he's on his third season, so he's probably hit over 40.
Yeah.
You know, I stopped keeping count, but he's had some really cool guests on there. And
Is it mostly agents? Because those are the ones that I've listened to, but
he's
Others
said
as
it's
well?
probably mostly agents, but probably only like half. And then
Oh,
he's
okay.
got, you know, he's had other types of personalities on there.
yeah.
Real estate
There was
related?
one, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's the guy? I know they gave me this thing.
Oh.
Ryan Serhant. He's like a
Oh,
real estate
yeah.
mogul,
Yeah.
Oh.
which I've seen him on TV.
Right,
he's-
I just want
yeah.
to make sure I said the name right.
He
but,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
$1 million listing.
$1 million listings. Yeah. so
Ooh,
I don't know
baby.
how Jack got him, but somebody knew somebody.
Yeah.
So he got him on.
That's awesome.
It's
I'll
kind
go
of
back
an
and
ego
listen to
thing.
that one.
I see it's kind of an ego thing, you know, because we just started out and we invited all these people, including
Right. No
the
one
head
said
of the
no.
Boston
Nobody
Marathon.
said
Right?
no.
Yeah. Dave McGilvery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 6 episode, the head of Boston
Right.
Marathon.
So yeah, we're
Yeah,
going for the
that
stars.
was a good one.
We have a partner at Touchstone Closing
know,
here, guys.
right?
It doesn't get much better than this. I mean, I don't know what
Where are
we're
you
going to
gonna
do.
go from here?
Nowhere.
I don't know.
Nowhere. Yeah.
All downhill,
Guys,
people.
we gotta close
All
up shop.
downhill.
Yeah, you probably have some pretty big people in this area that you could get in
Yeah.
here for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the director of the Boston Marathon, the director of Mission 22,
Yeah.
these guys.
Those are good.
Town manager of Westford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was listening to that one actually on the drive
she was
over.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
She
so
was
great.
great.
Wasn't
She's very
she fun?
sweet.
She's
Yeah.
a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have a good time, so that's all that matters,
Yeah,
really.
right.
That's
we
really
could
it,
really
right?
just keep talking and talking.
I know.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for real estate agents, realtors? You know, what are you seeing coming across your table? Do you say, you know what, if I could talk to every realtor, this is what I would tell him or her?
You know, I thought about that. You know, there's been this provision that people have been throwing in that really needs to be detailed. It's this kind of provision buyers are willing to pay, you know, $20,000-$30,000 more than the appraisal value, and it's like
The appraisal
open ended.
gap waiver or whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
So it's like, it happened where it was a lot less, it was a big swing.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, well, now the seller has to accept the appraisal value plus 30. I'm like, well, no, that's not what that provision means. Well, that's what we thought it meant. I'm like, no.
No.
Why would
Yeah.
why would a seller agree to something like that?
It's a price change.
Right.
Yeah. So there's some provisions that are getting put in there that really should be fine tuned, but these things are getting thrown into the offer. So,
Right.
offers are binding.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Well, that's why we need the
yeah.
language.
That's
I mean,
why
I'm
we
part
need
of
a lawyer.
coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm part of
if you're
coaching in
gonna
our
put-
office, so
yeah.
we
If you're-
definitely
Yeah, I was
need the
gonna say,
language.
Yeah.
if you're thinking about putting in an offer with that some kind of quirky language where you're trying to protect the buyer, but also, make it, which is hard, right? Because it's a seller's market. Don't be afraid to throw it past us so we can just take a look and
Well,
try to
that's a
make
good
it.
idea.
Let me ask you this: how do you feel about putting it some sort of not in the offer, but in your cover letter? Like, we'd be willing to entertain, so then it's not binding,
Yeah.
but you're still throwing it in there to kind of sweeten your offer.
That's probably the most ideal way to do that.
Wow,
yeah.
that's a great
And then you
idea.
could
That's
kind
the way
of.
she does it.
That's how I do it.
That would be a good way to do it. Yeah.
Offers
Yeah.
accepted, doing
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
appraisal, but some other things like, other.
You would be surprised though that there's still some agents that don't think the offer. They're like, well, if we don't sign a P&S, then that's it. I'm like, oh no.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, the law's pretty clear on this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
If they
Okay,
sign the
so that's
offer,
a
you
good-
got a contract.
Yeah.
That's a really great
contract. That's
Yeah.
a good.
Do you
point.
guys, that made me think, do you guys have at Touchstone or just in general a list of those little provisional pieces of language that
Like
we
centralized?
as agents might be able to tap into? Like if you're going to do this contingency or that kind of thing,
That's
say
a good
this.
That's a good
Cheat
point.
sheet for us.
We
Yeah.
in coaching
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
cheat sheet of that.
Yeah.
Sort
I
of
call it
attorney
boilerplate.
approved.
Boilerplate.
Yeah.
Attorney approved language. Like if you're going to do a condo and but the offer is contingent on reviewing the condo documents before purchase and sale. Like
Yes.
definitely you got to bookend some of those things.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Because it's easy to leave out a single word like that and not
Right.
realize it and then leave it open, just
Yeah.
especially like you're a newer agent and you're excited to write an offer and you just want to get it accepted. And
Yep.
That's like one of the first things we learned in law school is, just a word
Language.
can
one
mean so
word
much
can
different.
be
Like
so much.
you could
yeah.
have may or shall.
Yes.
Right. Oh, I was
May,
in
Very
may
big
is
difference.
like, well, may. Yeah.
a personal thing.
Yeah.
We had and/or, and in something in a legal thing personally, and it was in my favor because it didn't spell it out.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't and or it wasn't or.
Right.
It was
Oh.
and or, so that it was open to interpretation,
Yeah.
and it went in my favor because it was unclear.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
and that's why I put home inspection for informational purposes. I don't even put only
Right.
because I don't like the idea of being
that's
locked
smart.
Nice.
in because I want to
Yeah.
be able to negotiate if it's something big.
Right, but that's a really good example because that's one I've written a couple of times, and I've written it in sort of different language, and it would be awesome if I had just a standard thing I can put into my offer that will make sure my clients are being covered
Right.
before
Yeah.
I accidentally drop a word and put it in the offer that way.
Yeah.
Like, we won't do we won't ask for anything over inspection.
I put that
more
in my
than
cover
$10,000
letter.
for health safety issues and whatever other words I'm supposed to have,
Yeah.
and I don't know. So it would be really great if you could hook us
That's a
up
good
with
idea.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think that's actually a great
Yep.
idea. If we could
Definitely,
maybe compile a
coaching.
list. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it
Because
over
we all
the.
are kind of our own separate, attorneys. We all have our separate things.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
bet if we could probably combine to come up with a pretty good list.
That would be
of,
great, or at least the
Be a
standard
good
things you
marketing
see.
tool to real estate agents as
Yeah.
well.
It would. Yeah. See?
My marketing brain.
Can't give out all the secrets, but we could give you a
No,
bunch.
yeah,
Yeah,
no.
some.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Teaser
some.
secret.
Just the basic, maybe the ones that
Right.
just annoy you
Yeah.
guys the most.
Right.
Like, oh God, here it is again.
They
You
just
know.
screwed
You're
us
always
over.
doing
yeah.
this.
Always doing this.
Don't do this here.
Mary, you sent a calendar link with the wrong time on it. Yeah.
Hey, I had to get my Dunkin'
technology
Donuts,
is
so I'm
not
good.
your forte.
Right. And Mary knows technology is not my forte. And before you even got here, I think the day I sent you the calendar link was the day I had my eyes dilated for my eye exam. And I thought I was fine, and I just clicked down on the wrong. I'm again, apologizing
It's
to our
okay.
guest for wasting an hour of his morning.
No,
Yeah.
I got to know this section of Westford a little bit better. 'Cause
lovely over here.
I'm always over by 495 usually,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's kind of fun.
This is
We
a
like
nice
it over here.
place. This is
Yeah,
a really nice
really
It's a nice
nice.
facility here at WestfordCAT.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
spoiled.
If I knew I was going to do as much work out this way, I probably would have an office out here and,
I would
and
love
live
for you
around
to-
here somewhere.
I want you to
Yeah.
have an
Yeah,
office
it's
out
beautiful
here.
out
Yes.
here.
Please
I know.
do.
I
Let's
think.
get the kids out of high school and then we're moving to Westford.
Okay.
Good.
No, you're. Excuse me.
Groton.
You're moving to Groton. Thank you.
Westford.
No,
see.
Groton.
We'll see.
He's already told me he's moving to Groton.
This is Miss
do.
Destination Groton.
Yeah, there you go.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you know that.
Committee.
Born and raised.
Born and
Yeah.
raised. I left for an unfortunate maybe 10 years, and then I came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this area is very awesome.
It's a great
I
area.
love it
Yeah.
so much. Yeah.
We'll let you live on the Westford Groton line.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I can
yeah.
do that.
I can
Yeah.
find
Split
you
the
a house
difference.
there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Or I could.
Or we can fight it out.
duke it out.
We can go
Can
halvesies
handle
on
Groton,
it.
I'll do Westford.
Sure, yeah.
There
I'll just
we
pay
go.
you all.
That's
What is
no,
this?
that's a fair fight. I think if you find a
Why is
house
the
that you
buyer
live in
getting
Westford,
charged?
it's hers. If you find one in Groton, it's mine.
That's awesome.
It's all good.
Yep.
So before we let you go, do you have any like other than having a baby on at a closing, like any crazy stories from your real estate life, like anything that just blew up or was so amazing, or
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a funny story, I suppose. Probably like 2 or 3 years into doing this. I think I might have told you a story.
Okay.
So I had this buyer. He's buying a condo. It wasn't a Tony closing, but I think it was like another guy in his office.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Acton.
Okay.
Little condo. It was our first place, a little garden style. And it's 9 a.m. We get there. The list agent's like, yeah, the seller is not here.
Yeah.
We're like, well, where is he? He got bagged for his 3rd DUI last night, so that's an automatic 30 days down at the Plymouth House of Corrections. I was like,
Boy.
oh man. He had fortunately already moved out, so it was just really a matter of getting his docs signed.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I don't have any other closings today. I guess I'm going to Plymouth.
Off you went to prison or
I'm in
jail or whatever it is.
prison, yeah. And it was so funny. Like, came in with his, he's got the Department of Corrections outfit on.
The jumpsuit.
The handcuffs get uncuffed. He's sitting at the table across from me. They leave, shut the door, and he's like, "Are you my attorney?" And I was like, for your house
For
sale."
real estate, yes. Please don't talk to
Like,
me about your
what?
criminal case.
Yeah,
Was he sober?
Oh yeah,
By
yeah.
that point.
I know.
That's a
I know.
great question,
It was a great
actually,
question
yeah.
because it's like, duress, right?
Yeah.
Are you
Right.
doing this under your free will?
Yeah.
So I had to ask all those questions, probably 3 different ways. But yeah, he definitely wanted to get that place sold. He was like freaking out in there because he's like, "Oh my God, is this closing going to get pushed off?" And,
right.
So
And at that point,
he was
probably,
pretty much all moved out. I think he had a couch in there, and he's like, "Can she like save my couch?" I'm like, "Well, I'll see."
I'll see. I don't know, buddy.
Warm and fuzzy.
He had other problems.
I know that for sure.
Listen, yeah. if
I
you're-
brought it with me. It'll be waiting for you outside. No.
Inflating.
You really are a full service lawyer.
Right.
It's
yeah.
amazing.
I mean, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a funny.
And I didn't
crazy
really have
story.
anything funny or crazy until the Mairi.
Until
There
me.
you go.
Yeah.
Well,
Stand
Until
by.
we're delivering a baby.
Stand
Yeah.
by. She'll do
Stand
another
by.
one.
We have another
Love it.
closing coming up. Next week? So
man.
who knows what's going to
No
happen on that
drama.
one? No drama. I don't think so.
do this one by the book, please.
Yeah,
people.
I think
Yeah.
actually we need to figure out where we're going to do that one. Let's talk
Yeah.
after.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, guys. I was going to have a quote. That was the thing. We
Well, 'cause-
usually always have a quote. I spent this whole last week A, dealing with middle school drama, and B, sifting through quotes about lawyers.
Oh man. Not jokes.
And you know what
they're
I know?
quotes?
Well, that's
Okay.
what I
Could've gone
found.
with a joke.
Pete. Yeah, I considered it, but I didn't want to force it. So I don't have a quote because there were no nice quotes.
Well, do you
about
have any?
lawyers.
How about from a lawyer? Do you have any quotes
Right.
that you like, Pete? Something that rolls around in your head, some affirmation or something that like really gets you like back to center.
I probably
or...
do have a good one. I I don't know.
Well, it just
yeah,
made me
I know.
sad for
Like
you.
the
No,
Wayne
no, I'm on the
Gretzky
spot.
No,
of
you
a-
don't have to. Yeah.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's I love that one. That's a great one. I actually say that
that's
to
a
my
good
kids
one.
sometimes. No, that's great. That's great. But it just I wanted to talk about that actually because it makes me sad for you guys as lawyers, as a set of human beings, where the general gist is like you're a dentist, you know? It's like a not a nice field, and the people who go into
Yeah.
it are, you know,
I think,
money suckers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think in transactional law, like real estate,
Yeah.
estate planning, contract law, it's
You have a
pretty.
good
we're pretty.
reputation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're pretty vanilla.
It makes
Yeah.
me upset. It's very blanket. Like I was getting upset for you
But I
reading
get
these
it.
things.
I mean, you see the guys that are getting people off.
Yeah.
High-profile criminal cases, and
Yeah.
some of those
Right.
those bad eggs are gonna. Not
Well,
that they're bad
it's-
eggs,
you-
but they're just.
You want them though
know,
if you're in that
you do,
situation.
yeah.
Unfortunate situation,
Yeah.
but
well, they're testing the system too, right?
Right.
So.
So, but does that bother you as a person? That in general, like, do you get
don't
those
really.
lawyer jokes? Like, do people say
I
them to you?
laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get. I mean, you
Well,
know,
and I think any field has good
Realtors,
and bad
yeah. I do
apples.
too.
I mean,
Oh, for sure.
You know,
they're
Yes.
funny.
Yeah,
'Cause I
but
know
if
what they're
I look up
I know
quotes
which
about
attorneys
real-
they're talking about.
Yeah.
everyone
it's not
knows
me.
which attorneys they're talking about. Right?
We know which one that is.
It's never you. It's
not me.
It's never you.
No, it's never Pete. Pete's awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
it's my new tagline.
it's never Pete.
Never be.
He's
From the
awesome.
Mairi.
Never
Never
me.
Yeah,
Pete.
from the
Pete's
Mairis.
awesome. Thank you. You're welcome again for another quote. No.
Yeah. Well, this one's a Mary McCauley quote too. Is that you are now an honorary Mary.
Yeah.
And we're so happy that you came and spent this time with us.
Which
I
comes
love
with
it.
a tiara and a
Yeah,
sash.
yeah.
Get the sash?
Absolutely. Yeah. You'll get it in the mail.
Maybe a certificate.
I can clutch my pearls.
That's what we should do,
Yeah.
guys. We should get like a little fake string of pearls for every single person because we do sort of try to wear pearls on every
We try to, yeah.
episode.
Oh, that's
We
great.
decided it was a cool vintage thing we were going to do. Mary McCauley,
Well,
where are your pearls?
Where are
And I
your
know
pearls?
Where are yours?
mine are under my
Oh,
headphones.
mine
Well,
are
I think you guys are off to a really great start
Oh,
with
thanks.
this.
Thanks.
Yeah, I've
Thank
been able
you.
to listen to 3 of them so far, and they're really good.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Very enjoyable.
Appreciate you, Pete.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, tell everybody about this episode at least if you're not too
I will.
embarrassed by it.
You know how I am.
Yeah.
I like my social media, so
That's right. And get
we'll
on
be
there.
promoting it.
One more thing. How do people get in touch with you for their real estate attorney
Yes.
needs?
Sure. So it's a longer email now. My old one still works, but it's psmith@touchstoneclosing.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Smith at touchstoneclosing.com.
I know.
And
It's a
we-
lot.
We'll have that on our Facebook
We'll
page.
put it
Yeah,
out.
we'll put it out.
Put a
Any
link
one of
down.
us how to get in
Yeah.
touch with him.
Yeah.
He's in our phone on speed dial. So
Yep.
it's all
So
good.
nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yes, nice
a
meeting you too.
pleasure. A pleasure.
Always an awesome experience doing a closing with you.
Great seeing you again, Pete.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.